Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Celebrity Challenge, and today we have Sins of the Parents, the Crumbley trials, and yes, it's red for the third day in a row. Why? Because, man, this is just a bloody affair over the last few days. This kind of, horror stuff usually, comes in October. I mean, yesterday's Marvel Zombies, and before that it was the horrors of Gypsy Rose, and today we have the parents of a. I don't even know if I could say these words without getting like dinged by the algorithm. Um, a mass shooting. Maybe if I whisper it, it won't get caught. I have no idea. But I'm not condoning it or celebrating it or anything else. This is a real tragedy, something that really happens way too often, and nothing is done about it to prevent it in the future. And in this case, not a whole lot was done to prevent it in the past. And this is what this documentary is about. It's an hour and 8 minutes long. It is from 2024. The shooting happened in November 30th of 2022. And it was their son. I'm not going to say his name because I'm going to tell you right now, he got life without parole. He was fully responsible for his actions. Not necessarily them, not necessarily the gun he got, but. And I'm not about to dive into any kind of gun argument or ownership debate. It's not going to be decided here. It's going to be decided by a whole lot more of us than anybody together making that decision just to keep our kids safe. The kid shot up his school, killed a number of kids, and it was the result of his parents just buying him a gun. I mean, he was still a kid. Dad bought it in his name. Took him to the shooting range. I mean, if anything else, it's taking him to the gun range should teach him responsible skills, and that's not a bad thing. That is absolutely. I am certainly personally. I'm not talking about the general world and everything else. I'm not against somebody owning a gun. Owning like 1,000 of them might be a fetish. I don't really know, but I'm gonna say yeah. Um, when it comes to owning a gun, it is important that we understand the responsibility we have, the power and great responsibility that we hold in our hands. And that includes, hey, you know what? You're going to teach your kids? Teach them. Show them how to handle it. Show them how to handle it responsibly, not like in a cool way. It's teach them. And the responsibility they have, and that how to properly use it, how to put the safety on, how not to hold it, how not to use it, how when to not use it, and when to. That's just the bare minimum. And it also comes down to parents being responsible since it was technically for their kid who paid for it through his dad, gave dad the money. It's also good to keep such things out of the reach of children. Why? In this case, especially why? When they have been made aware of their son's disturbing writings and drawings and attitudes, and he's searching bullets at school. Like, they're aware of certain situations, they're aware of certain things, and they're aware that there might be a problem, and they can ignore it as well, and is what they ended up doing until it was too late. And this is a kind of a landmark case. It's the Crumbley trials, mainly because these people were held responsible for the actions of their child as being accessories. I mean, they got their own. They weren't charged as accessories. I think they were charged for involuntary manslaughter. Trial jury, each of them separately, And this takes it from the point of view of the prosecution, the prosecuting team that took on this case over many, many months and came up with a verdict, along with a jury of their peers. It's an unprecedented thing, mainly because the lead prosecutor had chosen to prosecute the parents, not just the shooter, not just the child. And this is not one of those situations. Yeah, the kid's still alive. He didn't do it to himself after it was over. He was fully aware of what he's doing. And unfortunately, so were they, to a certain degree. I think there was a lot of information, a lot of opportunities where they could have said, they saw, oh my God, something is happening here. There's something wrong. And neglected to. And that's what this is all about. It follows the prosecution. It follows their plan. It follows what they're doing. This is the kind of thing that you don't normally see when it comes to trials and things like that. Usually cameras aren't allowed in courtrooms. All depends on where you are, what part of the country, and what state, and what the law is. But there's also, it was just kind of the reason why it got this attention is not just because it was a school shooting, but also because of the fact that, like I said, the parents were on the hook for this, not just the kid. And it has created precedent. You kind of, considering that there is a documentary about this, you kind of know how it ends. It comes down to... It's really judgmental to say, you need to be good parents. I know it's not an easy thing. It's not something that just turns on for a lot of people. Although it's pretty easy some ways to be a bad parent, but sometimes it's a struggle in your own mind, in your own heart, to be a good parent. Even though your kid loves you and you think you're awesome, even though they see maybe you're a controlling jerk sometimes. But you're a good parent. Some people, it's a lot harder. Did they deserve what they got? Well, that wasn't up to me to decide. But they had responsibility in taking care of their child. And others are dead because of it. And we do get to see interviews with those who were affected. And it's heartbreaking. It's just seeing fathers talk about the loss of their children. There was, some of them had mothers, but I have a feeling that some of them were probably just not able to be on camera. And guys tend to bottle things up, and even these guys were having a hard time expressing themselves. That's not a dig against them. I don't have any kids, but I know that if any of the kids in my life were anything close to a situation like this, that I'd lose any of them, I wouldn't be able to form a sentence any better than I currently am now. But it would be awful. Yeah. So this is not an easy watch. I'm really hoping the next thing I pick here is going to be a little bit more brighter, a little bit happier. I mean, between Munchausen syndrome and Marvel Zombies, think about how Marvel Zombies is the brightest part of this, because it had some humor, but also lots of egregious gore. But, okay. And we get this. Please pick something nice. Something a little bit lighter. Something more Disney. 136. Huh. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is a short, real easy one. And it stars Roger Rabbit and Baby Herman. This is Trail Mix-Up. Yeah. This is one of the little spin-off cartoons set in the Roger Rabbit universe. And yeah, I'm going to enjoy watching this. We're going to change the background color finally. Trail Mix-Up is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.